Hello, today we're gonna do a little different video. I'm gonna react, or not react, but basically reply to some feedback that showed up in my YouTube feed from a guy called SUPERDREUZEL. SUPERDREUZEL, this guy. So I thought it would be interesting to kind of respond to that his request for features and suggestions in a video, because actually I've briefly looked through it. I haven't seen it all, but I looked through it, and it sounds like he is touching some of the points that a lot of you are touching anyway. I also did a new setup in my little stream deck that I can show at another point, so I hopefully can do these little things a little more easy, so I can record devlogs like this without having to do too much editing and still make it appear pretty interesting to look at with me flying around here. But anyway, let's take a look at what SUPERDREUZEL have to say.
Hey, this is SUPERDREUZEL. Welcome to a new video for firework.
Hello.
Today we're not doing a mod review. No. Today we're going to be looking at a few features that I would like to be in the game.
Of course, check out his channel, SUPERDREUZEL. I will leave a link in the description because he's doing a lot of mod reviews. So you haven't, if you haven't seen him, check out his channel. He's doing a lot of cool mod reviews. So just a little shout out right there.
This is going to be a little improvised video that I'm not entirely sure how to tackle, but I'm gonna try and do my best to kind of, you know, make clear, hopefully, what I would like to see in either future official updates by Mania or by...
A little thing about updates. I'm currently not very active. I'm a little silent, but it's because some stuff is going on in my life. Basically, we are selling our house and buying a new house, so I'm spending a lot of time on that. Right now, it's pretty, stressful, and all my energy is going to that. Hopefully, it will be over soon, the first part, so I can get back to actually do live streams and work on the game and get some updates out there, because it's going way too slow right now. So that's a little status on the updates.
Others out there, so if you see something that you're like, hey, I could do that, feel free, be my guest, please add them. Right, let's get started with...
Modders are fairly limited right now. They can do some kind of hacky ways of doing things, but not really that well yet. I need to expose some more stuff, but that's all coming hopefully. So I just need time basically. So I think most of the features that I suggested here is something that I have to at least make something so it is doable or make it. But let's see.
For point number one, I would love to see in Fireworks Mania cake subcategories, or maybe even not just cakes, but fireworks subcategories. For example, make cakes sortable by, for example, are they regular cakes? Are they fan shaped?
Let me just do a quick comment here, because yes, the current inventory was not kind of designed to contain hundreds of fireworks pieces as it has now with mod support. It's a good problem to have because there's so much content in the game now due to the mod support. But for sure, the entire UI and the entire inventory system needs a way to sort, search, see more informations about the different pieces, like which mod is it coming from, who created it, and stuff like that, when it was last updated, and information like that would be nice to have in the inventory. Maybe not front and center, because it's not something you need to know all the time, but it should be viewable somehow, at least.
Cakes? Are they, I don't know, salute cakes? Are they smoke cakes, for example?
That way of subdividing and giving these I haven't figured out how I can do that yet, because as you can maybe imagine, what happens if well, right now we have a different list of types the modders can pick. I created a list of different types that the modders can create, so it's like a rocket or cake or whatever, but the problem is it doesn't scale if I do all these things. Like, you know, I can't predict all the ones, and I can't create all of them to support all mod creators, you know, because mod creators come up with different stuff. But what I haven't figured out yet is how to make modders able to do this without me having to create everything, if that makes sense. That was a little weird, but you might see the problem, you know, one mod creator creates a subcategory for rockets called bottle rockets, for instance, or something like that, and another mod creator creates the same. So how should I know these two are basically the same and should be grouped together? And yeah, so we want to avoid ending up with kind of a way to filter where you have multiple bottle rockets showing up. So because then the sorting and filtering doesn't really help anyway. So I don't know how to solve that yet, and I will see what I can do about it.
What is it? The green wall and the blue wall, whatever wall, they are like smoke cakes, right? They could be in the smoke category together with the, what is it? The wall. That could be a thing, right? Don't you think? That would be...
But the mod creator for these Senna green wall smoke cakes could actually just give them the type smoke and then they will show up in smoke. So that is solvable right now. But I see your point.
You ever want to make a certain show and you're not entirely sure anymore what that one cake was that either was that cool fan shape or maybe that had the smoke effects. That would be really helpful in making that findable easier. Point number 2 of things that I want to see is I want to know better what mod is either made by who or what is in what mod. Right now...
Yeah, as I said before, it's not very easy to see right now where things are coming from, and that's a problem for myself too, figuring out where's this from. You know, if I wanna remove this one here, you know, where is it from? What mod do I need to uninstall? So I want to change how that works and make more provide more info about each piece of fireworks, basically.
Like this entire pack, Brocade Scala Z until Bloody Strobe, that is one pack. I know it is one pack.
Yeah, but you know it and you can't see it, and that's the problem. I don't know exactly how to solve it, but I have a good idea of at least solve the problem of showing more information.
If somehow you could, I don't know, color code it or make you change the list.
One idea I get right now is that what if you could in the inventory filter by the actual mods, so you could kind of, you know, check mods on and off so you wouldn't see stuff, because this way you would be able to only show the cakes from one mod without having to uninstall and install the mods. That could be one thing. That's one way of solving it. And the other way of solving the information about it is that you could do something where you kind of select a piece of firework and then to the right or over here, or some, if the UI was a little bigger, you could have some picture of the effect maybe over here, and then some info below it, like the author, when was it updated, maybe a description, something like that. So you would have an idea also here, also maybe information about how long does this take, how many shots does it have, so stuff like that. So that's the way I'm thinking of solving that problem with the information and how to enable, disable mods. Be aware, I'm just talking about what ideas I'm getting right now and what I have already before watching this. It doesn't mean that it end up like this, just so you know, a little disclaimer here. We're just, you know, talking about game development here. So, but something needs to happen, for sure, that's for sure.
When you open your, how would you call it, your Explorer, right? You're opening your folder and there's a whole lot of pictures in here. Imagine this is your picture album on your computer. There's always a button down here that you can either have like like this, or
it's a different way of showing the inventory, for sure. Yeah.
And maybe if you,
and just to prove, just to be clear, I'm not gonna do all the stuff here, at least not at once, but let's see if we can evolve it over time and make it better and easier to navigate and find stuff.
Like something like that, you could maybe sort them easier. It will be more clear to look like, oh hey, I'm looking for a mod that Panini made. Can I sort by Panini? And in that like list, you can kind of see.
Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about before. If you could kind of enable, disable the different mods somehow in the inventory without having to install and uninstall the mods, that could solve that specific problem there.
creators, you can kind of sort as well between Amnesty mods, Panini mods, Kendo mods. You know, if that could be cool, right? I would think that's cool. Something I would also really like in the game, still in the cake menu here, is I would love to see the runtime of any cake. For example, I made a really big show on Twitch, right?
Yeah, and that's well, to do it dynamically, it's not easy. I don't think I can actually. I could do something where I look at the particle. Now it becomes a little technical, but I could do something where I look at the length of the particle system. But that's not very. I don't think that's very always correct, because it includes the smoke disappearing and stuff like that. I'm not even sure I can actually calculate the longest. Well, I can find the longest time maybe in the hierarchy of particle effects. But anyway, I think that information about the number of shots, the timing, and some standard metadata around a cake in this case would be something that the mod creator would put into the definition. As you as mod creators know, we have this definition thing, and I could add more metadata on that one, either by having some fixed one like time, numbers of shots, stuff like that. Could also be adding some custom properties, so that you could show more information about what some specific thing for your particular cake. But I think just the time and number of shots could be a good starting point to solve that problem that's described here.
And we were fusing together the the Air Force One. Where is it? Here it is. This thing takes 5 minutes to complete, right? I would love if there could maybe be a teeny tiny icon in the corner here, maybe there, I don't know, or...
Yeah, the problem with putting it in the icon, because I thought about that, but the problem is we can put all this information into the icon, so that's why I'm kind of suggesting that we could add some stuff over here. I've seen that in other games where they have mods, they have these informations over there, and that actually seems to be working pretty good. So I think I would solve it that way instead. But I get the point, adding the time.
For example, for 1 minute 30 seconds, that would help me so much. How long does the fuse need to be? Because I was going for an Air Force One project here for a little finale, and then fusing that.
I think we get to the fusing part later, because that's also a
blink O's. And I had to take that fuse around so many corners, and that was pretty impossible. And then if you want to test it, if it's
it takes too long.
Is like connected properly. You're going to have to watch that cake for 5 whole minutes. This is like an extreme example. I do get that. It is kind of annoying. So having a timer on the cakes to show you like, hey, this cake takes that long, that would help me personally a lot. I don't know what you can
that combined with what I think he gets to in a point is the fuses. So if you know how long the cake is, and you could either see the length of the fuse or the time of the fuse, or you could even better set the specific time of the fuse. That would be even better. And that's also something I have on the to-do already, both to show the time, but also to have some kind of modification tool that can change the speed or change the time of a fuse. I haven't done it yet, of course, but it's on my to-do.
That will be really handy. Going on about that, what if, right, bear with me, there is this fuse thing, you know, which is either red, green, orange, or white. What if it actually told you how long this is? Right, so what I had to do to connect the air...
And actually, I think he's...
Rough example, pretty much that went like...
And actually, if you have seen my latest devlogs, sorry, not devlogs, because I haven't done that in a while. Sorry. But anyway, my latest live streams, you would see me building some new UI, kind of in-game UI or some dynamic UI for tooltips. So that shows what you can click on and what you need to press to actually interact with something. with this usable component that I'm working on. But that same logic, I'm pretty sure I can use that same mechanic to show the time on the fuse when you get close to it. You don't want to see all the fuses time all the time, but you want to see when the fuses you are close to are the ones you're looking at or something like that. Similar to how we have done it with the usable component. So that's how I'm technically thinking of doing this, and it shouldn't actually be that hard. It's just like, I have 1,000 things to do, and I have to, prioritize them. Can only do one at a time.
Which is, here's another one, which is really ineffective. That annoyed me to no end. Yeah, then you have to do the test to see if it actually matches up. It didn't. What you have to do, you reload your blueprint, up again, see where the fuse goes.
Yeah, and this is where we have to get a tool or specific fuse or some way so you can actually set the fuse so you can have it be so long and then take 5 minutes, for instance. I think that would be good. Might be a little unrealistic, but at least it could solve this problem and could make it much easier to time things when doing a show.
So, unlike this, why not... You could do two things. Why not give me... let's see, let's add some reference. Wait, let's do that over here, actually. Say my show starts with Tachana 1. And I want to start Tachana 2 at the second this one ends.
By the way, sorry for showing your entire video here. Remember, guys, click to SUPERDREUZEL's page and give him some views and some clicks and some likes, because right now I'm basically showing his entire video. But he told me that it was okay, so that's what I'm doing. Because it doesn't really make sense to cut up the video here, because usually you only use parts of these things and then I reply to them. But I think the video is so good, so it doesn't really make it. If I cut stuff out of this, I think it won't be easy to understand, maybe. I don't know. I don't think it makes sense to, even though it becomes a long video, I think it's better to have it in its entirety. Maybe I cut this down anyway, but right now I'm feeling like it's better to see it in a whole, because it's actually really well done, this video anyway.
Is I could either calculate the fuse and roughly place it here or there, or I could either see...
Yeah, so like he just did there, that's where I would do something so when you look at a fuse, the time showed up. That could be one way of solving it.
A little number.
Yeah, exactly like that.
There should be something on screen if I am smart.
Mm-hmm.
That says like, oh, this fuse exactly like this.
Yeah.
Is...
And then when you move it, it updates. Yeah.
Probably more like 10, but this is 2 seconds. So if I do the orange fuse...
Mm-hmm.
It should
be 1 second or something like that.
This is like 1 second.
Yep.
And luxury solution would be if I just move this,
it updates.
Instantly calculate.
Yes.
How much longer that fuse is.
Yeah. And calculating that shouldn't be a problem. That's no problem. The difficult part, as I see it technically, is actually to make it show up. And make it show up so it makes sense for the player and it's not in the way. For instance, I think I would only show these times for the fuses when you are actually holding the fuse tool in your hand. I think that makes sense, because else it can quickly become overclouded with information and stuff like that. So that's why I'm spending a lot of time actually trying to keep things simple and only show what is needed, because showing a lot of information on the screen all the time is very easy and very not usable.
Help me out there. That would be absolutely massive.
Mm-hmm.
Something else that could work here is you could just put it right next to here. Make some tool that you can click on.
I was a little ahead there, but that's actually what I have on my to-do list, is what I call a modification tool, and I plan to make that being able to modify multiple things, not only the time of the fuse, but for a fuse it would be the time, but for something else it might be like the time of the thruster, the force of the thruster, or something like that. Again, talking about future stuff that might come, might not come, but at least know that that's what I'm thinking of doing.
You can click on the actual fuse. Just click it, highlight it, or maybe like a menu opens and you can type in, I want this part of the fuse to be exactly 2 minutes.
Well, here he said typing, and that's also why I'm. Now we get to why it might seem like I'm overcomplicating and making things harder for myself. But the thing is, if I want to make this game work with a controller at some point, if it goes to the Switch or PlayStation or Xbox or just controller on a PC, I want to make as much as possible work with a controller. So that's also why I need to be careful with what I use the mouse for, if that makes sense, and what you have to type in and drag around and stuff like that. So that's why I haven't controller support yet, but I always have it in my back of my mind because I know a lot of people want it, and it's required if I ever want to go on a console or mobile or whatever. It will be at some point. So his point is right, but it will not be typing in some stuff. It will have to be selectable somehow with a controller. But it's not undoable. It's doable. It's just I just need to think a little more to do it right. Nope.
This fuse is gonna burn on for exactly 2 minutes. Maybe you could even add.
That's exactly what I said before.
Custom fuse color.
Yeah.
That's like pretty much like a custom fuse.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Spider.
Having a specific fuse that you can put that might be blue or something like that you can set to whatever you wanna have.
Click it, or what you could maybe do is when you fuse it, right, and then click your mouse wheel, make like a little number that goes up with 5.
Yes, exactly. It's exactly the mouse wheel I'm thinking about using for adjusting things. So because you are used to you use the mouse wheel now to adjust the fuse, you use it to adjust the length, and use it to adjust a lot of things. And I intend to use the mouse wheel to be like you can hover or you can select this and then use the mouse wheel to change the time in this case, and some other stuff. It might be as I said before, the thruster time or whatever. So yeah, the mouse wheel will be used for that. That's what I'm planning at least.
Something to not make show so much of a mess with all those fuses. That could be a really cool thing. Let me know what you guys think about timed fuses. I don't know if that's possible.
Okay, the lighting changed a little because I was disturbed before, so this is actually another day, but let's get back to the video and continue from where we left off.
So, for the last part of this little video here, what I would love to see in the mod...
In general, one comment from me is that this mod browser right now, workshop browser, is working really bad. It's the default one for mod.io. I only changed a couple of small things, but it doesn't perform very well. So that's for sure something I have to completely or close to completely redo at some point because it's lagging a lot.
Let's go to collection here. You get this screen, right? There's this long list of mods that you're subscribed to. It is really laggy once you start to get a few mods here.
Exactly, very, very laggy.
So when I do mod reviews, I like to disable as much as possible to get the loading times in really quickly. And every time I want to work on a show, I need to enable every mod again. What I would love to get here is either a button that says enable everything, disable everything, because I've frozen up so many times just clicking all of this. Especially when you start scrolling down, it just lags, right?
It's terrible.
Here, it just lags, and I just deleted 50 mods that I never used, which were definitely slowing it all down. But still, having like a enable, disable all, that would be great.
Yeah, for sure. Very good idea.
Maybe could be cool. Is if you could make your own little, how would you even call it, collection? For example, say I want all of Burden's mods over here. I could be able to select these 3 and, you know, save them as Burden's mods, and whenever I want to use Burden's mods, I could just click a list.
I see the point, but it might be a little too much. I can't say I will never do it, but I don't think that would be something I would do. It would not be very high on the priority list, because I think if I made it so that you could kind of filter or sort by certain things, like the creator, and implement a disable enable all button, it would be actually be pretty easy to just, you know, disable everything, filter by Panini or whoever you want mod implement, and then just have all of them there, and then enable everything. So you can just disable all, click off Panini or whatever, and then enable all his mods. So that would be a way to actually do the same thing without having to add this new playlist or your own little collection or whatever. So it's a good idea, but I think it will be done in another way.
Enable preset, and then every time I click that, all of the mods in that little set or in the collection that you made, kind of like a playlist, I suppose.
Yeah.
You've got Spotify, right?
Mm-hmm.
Make your own playlist. It could kind of work like that by making a Burden playlist, making a, I don't know, Pyro Nightmare playlist. Click that button, and everything by Pyro Nightmare gets enabled.
Yeah, okay, I see the point. Let's say you want to do some kind of, you want to have your own Christmas collection or your own Halloween collection or whatever. That could make sense to have as a kind of a, not really a playlist. I understand what you mean, but it's more like your own little collection or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, but it won't be high on the priority list, I think. There are many other things, and I keep talking about these things that I want to do, and it's not doing a lot of them. I'm doing some of them. It just takes a long time. So I know, I'm aware of that too.
It'll be really cool as a little thing there. And last but not least, I know what everybody's thinking.
Multiplayer.
Right? Everybody but me probably is when multiplayer, where multiplayer, please multiplayer. Can multiplayer be done next week? That would be great. Personally,
if you don't know it, it's kind of it's a meme thing or whatever, a standing joke in the community. I think SUPERDREUZEL writes every week or something like that, asking for multiplayer, and if it could be done next week, that would be fine. Yeah, it's a joke. Well, it's not a joke. It's a joke. He's asking for it and expect it to be done in next week. Of course, it's something that a lot of people are asking for, as you might know.
I'm more of a single player gamer. I do see the the added value of having multiplayer. Yeah. So I'm not gonna get really cheesy and ask for multiplayer in this video, because if you want multiplayer in this game, Mania has stated many times that he's looking into it. I think he's planning it for the end of the year, or maybe early next year.
Depends.
So keep patient. It will probably happen at some point. I thought I would just throw it in there because I know people are going to comment down below like, but you didn't mention multiplayer. We need multiplayer. So that is pretty much my list. Let me know what you guys think about.
Yeah, and a word about the multiplayer. I said it many times, as SUPERDREUZEL just said. It's something that if you don't have the game and multiplayer is a must for you, don't buy the game yet. Add it to your wish list, follow it, everything. Look back, a couple of months between. Look back, see how far I am. Multiplayer is something I can promise I will look into, but I cannot promise it's something that will actually happen in this version of the game. Because it's a huge task. It might require to do some of the stuff completely different, and it might be too big of a change to do, and I might have to break too much for modders to keep up with it. I don't know, but let's see. I want to look into it. I will look into it, but I cannot promise it will ever actually be a thing. I hope so. I managed to do all of this so far, so let's see if we can't end up having a multiplayer at some point. But again, let me make it very clear, it's not something I'm working on right now. It's not something that is coming anytime soon. There's a lot of stuff going in before that, because as I said from all the way back when I started making this game, I want to make a good single player simulation game with fireworks. That's what I'm aiming for now. That's what I'm trying to make. And once it's fun as a multiplayer game, as a single player game, it might also be fun as a multiplayer game. But yeah, single player is the target. I know a lot of you want multiplayer, but let's see how it goes. So this was a little video about me responding to some of the feedback and some suggestions. These are very common ones, and most of them are also something that I'm actually having on the to-do that will happen. Hopefully this year, not the multiplayer, but the other ones. Hopefully. So that's it. Trying to make this video in a little different way. It's a very long video, I can see, but sometimes we have these long videos too. Hopefully I will get back to making more videos, but I say that in every video. But anyway, see you in the next video. Bye.